Hello, guys. Good evening. Thank you for being with us tonight. Continuing on the self confidence conversation, I want to talk about one of my most humiliating losses in MMA, martial arts, whatever, or humiliating time experience I've ever had. I fought my second MMA match, and I fought an opponent named Cupcake. Check this out. Cupcake kicked my ass in less than 30 seconds, tapped me out, and I didn't even get to. Not only did I not land the blow, I didn't even get to throw a single strike in the fight. So I lost. It was humiliating. Imagine how I felt all in front of everybody. So not only did I lose to Cupcake without throwing a single strike in less than 30 seconds, I did a huge entrance. I came out with my people. I wore the karate gi. I had my a cool song I came out to. We all lined up like when Hoist Gracie came out, one on top with the holding on to the shoulders behind the next person, and all of that, and I got my ass beat to Cupcake in MMA in under 30 seconds without throwing a single strike. And my girlfriend was there, and my other teammate Rob, which I encouraged him to do MMA. He was a bit lower ranked than me, but I knew he could do really good. And then I fought, I lost, and I try not to whatever. Okay, I'm gonna show it, but obviously inside I'm humiliated. Then he fought and he performed poorly too, and he felt like shit. He was what am I gonna do? Complain about it? Because then we're all gonna feel bad. Well, we felt really bad. But later on, he came back to his next fight and he did amazing. He won. It was great, great, great. And my next fight, I fought pretty good after that. I won by knockout. Actually, I fought one fight that I won it in 30 seconds, 29 seconds, my knockout. But there you go. Those things happen. But the reason I'm bringing it up and I keep saying Cupcake is to point out how humiliating it is. And all people quit after this and be like, oh my God, I got beat up by Cupcake. How will I ever recover? And it's not a big fucking deal. It's at this point, it's just a funny story because you go through so many things in your life. Says this shouldn't bother you. You're gonna keep with the story because you lost. It ain't a big deal. You do it again until you win. And it's not a big deal if you win. You just keep doing it again and again. So a lot of people, normies, which I just don't understand, that like they go through something that's humiliating, and it just sticks with them. And we all have it. I get it, but the reason I'm bringing this up is that martial arts teaches you in a very hard hitting way that's bullshit. Get over your feelings. And I'm not saying it doesn't matter how you felt when you were humiliated and all that, but look, me losing the Cupcake and feeling like shit about it wasn't the end of the world. Look, I didn't even get hurt. Let's just add context to the conditions of what happened. So this was my second fight, and 2 weeks before the fight was one of these very traumatic moments happened in my life where, um, I don't even know if I want to talk about it so much, but I'll just say very briefly. It was one of the times of the very difficult experience that with my ex, there was a murder suicide that her father did, and that was 2 weeks before that fight. And after that we ended up living together. All of that happened, all that trauma. I really don't want to get into it, but that really fucked me up for a long time. And obviously that was a factor of going on to the fight. From confidence, I went to like dealing with that. Um, my father had cancer. All right, there's that. And then I was just, man, how am I? I'm gonna. Well, mom can't call them. How am I gonna fight with all this stuff? But I wanted to keep doing it. I made the commitment and everything. And I had prepared to fight a certain opponent that was going to be all stand-up fight, striking. And I drilled and trained for a stand-up fight. And the guy knew I was going to fight. I was like, oh, if it ever gets close, I'm going to clinch him and mess with him in the clinch because his striking looked very dangerous. And that was the opposite of what I should have done with this opponent. And the moment he got close, he cut in. I clinched. I clinched him first when he approached me, when it got too close, because I had drilled it so many times. And he grabbed me. I remember we clinched against the ropes. He suplexed me backwards, gator rolled me, and then he choked me out seconds. But I was pretty, I should be grateful that I didn't get hurt. I felt bad. Ooh, Cupcake kicked my ass. But Cupcake is a really good wrestler, dangerous guy. Nowadays, high level grappler, really good, really good. But look, he could have snapped my neck in half if he wanted to. And I was able to go train again. So that's a really good experience instead of looking at this whole humiliating thing. But look at all the stuff that's happening behind it. Then my opponent got switched the day before the fight and ended up fighting Cupcake. I was supposed to fight this other person. And then like I fought wrong doing with that. I remember I even had a journal wrote like I'm gonna lose this fight. There you go, I wrote it into the word. But you know, it's always some shit happening. If I look at almost every moment of my life, anything I try to do, there's always some shit going on. And then when you bring it saying, oh yeah, it's that, and then, you know, if you tell it to other people, maybe people understand it, think you're being over dramatic, or again, everybody's dealing with their own stuff. So it is what it is. But I see online people or in real life, people just don't want to try things because they're humiliated. And again, like that happened to me, this fight with Cupcake. I wasn't even a black belt yet. So I was brown belt probably. I don't even remember what level, probably second or third brown belt. So that's like what, counting backwards, second Q, third to second, between third and first Q in Shotokan. So I was really trying to test out my karate and MMA and see that that what I'm learning works and applying it. And if I had stopped because of that, because of the conditions and and the way I felt, and it wasn't just the humiliation; it was all of that. And then Robert lost, and what am I going to do? I mean, when I remember when we went home, I was like, oh man, but I couldn't do that in front of them because I knew he felt like shit. And he came with his girl, and my girl was there. Like I say, like she was dealing with all that, and it's just like it was all. It's not a good day, and that's how it is in these sports. It's the highs are high and the lows are lows, and we just left. It wasn't a good time. But again, these are just sports. This really doesn't matter compared to the other thing I'm saying with family dying and all that, and difficulties with life. That helps put into perspective. So don't feel like you need to quit something because you feel bad because you perform poorly because shit happens. Shit always happens. But if you try again, you try again, you try, even losing doesn't bother you. Like, yo, it is what it is. You're not measured by your performance one day. Because you do it again and again and again and again and again. The journey in martial arts is pretty much about it is the sweat and the repetition. That's where the fun is. Sometimes you may look at it from far away and just think that it's just uncomfortable and torture and all that, but it's really nothing like that at all. Because that's where all the different weird, fun experiences, people you meet, and everything. So I hope people could why I think it's important for people to do martial arts, especially if you're the type of person trying to audit yourself, you're trying to better yourself. You're trying to embody the hero that you're supposed to become, and and going to things like the boot camps, like she's calling you again. What are you gonna do? Not gonna listen to mom this time. Shall we call him as soon as he gets over here? He's comfortable now. So, as you're trying to embody this, I got quiet. I don't like that she does that. Stay with me. So for you to do that, you need to become that type of person. Like I suggested in these other videos, of people that go to these alpha camps, smashing the rackets and all that, they're searching for something, for a struggle. And why I encourage people to do martial arts is because experiences like that I'm trying to describe. Like I work with students that, they don't want, they've been intimidated by doing martial art because they don't want to get hurt. It's not cool to get hurt. Nobody's paying you to break yourself for what? A little plastic trophy? Baby, it's crazy that people will kill each other over a little plastic trophy. But when I bring them onto something like doing sparring in a safe way, training with me where you're progressively getting used to more and more stress, and then I'm slowly also applying higher and higher difficulty. So then their skill is also improving. And then that confidence of being in the difficult situation, knowing that you can deal with it. And it's the practicality of dealing with the stress, not in a way that you're just stressed about it, but knowing how to create the structures to do it, be better at it, and have fun. And that's what sparring should be, especially controlled, fun sparring. And for people who aren't doing it like that, it's really hard for them to bridge that gap, because more fight camps, martial art camps, like, hey, if you're a pussy, fuck out of here. We're creating fight. Sorry about that. We're creating fighters. But again, there's a way, but it has to be done safely. And that's a big part of fear transmutation. Transform your fear into power. Check out the fear transmutation manual that's going to be linked here. Um, but again, sharing that experience. So try that, guys. I hope that makes sense, what I'm saying. How do we transform it practically? How do we perform the alchemy here? You have to take something that humiliates you, not in this grotesque, sharp way, but something that you can take that form, that feeling, that spirit, and transform it into something powerful. I'll give you a practical example. If I'm out there running in the streets, sometimes I don't want to be people looking at me while I'm running. I feel stupid. You know what make me feel extra stupid? If you're a little chunky, take off your shirt. Oh, the six pack ain't there. I've been a lot about when I cut weight and I take pictures for the fight. I don't look like that. See, these are the negative narratives, the feeling of humiliation. So I want to transform that and be like, no, I'm going to take the opposite. I'm going to use that and I'm going to just run it. I'm going to run here. Do it every day. Discipline. I have transformed something negative into something else. So you could do the same thing with fear. I use particularly how I feel humiliated, and it doesn't matter. You still keep fighting. But the same thing is with fear. You can use things that make you afraid. Leverage that into power. An extreme example is Batman and what he does to leverage the symbol of fear and become and embody fear itself, but for good. So let's wrap it up so I don't sound too symbolic and esoteric and all that. So I'd love to hear what you say. If you're interested in the training with me, I'm opening up a cohort of 5 people so you could train martial arts 101 with me. Train with someone who's on your mindset so we can focus on your bottlenecks, where you're at when it comes to living a sovereign life and embodying truth. And we're going to do a once a week group call with the rest of the with the private Telegram group. So we're all together. We're networking. We're working together. You could be part of that. So I only have space for 5 people right now. So if you're interested with that, check out the link. Sovereign Word Philosopher Hub. It's going to be linked below. If that's for you, love to hear from you. And I hope you have a great day. For me, it's an evening, peaceful. I'm tired. I'm trying to leverage the relaxed energy. But even the cat's making me a little bit too relaxed. I'm tired. It's late. All right, guys. If you resonate with this, like, comment, and please share with someone that you think this could benefit them. And I'd love to see you here at the Sovereign Retreat. For no more about that, again, check out the links. Harold here. Thank you for being with us at the War Philosopher. Have a great evening. Os. All right, Misha.